Right, hello everyone, welcome back to CrawfordCana. A little bit of a different style video today. We are going to be doing our first match play video on the channel, which is very exciting. Today I am on my Blurple list, which I showed on the channel before, and I'm playing against Beau, who is on Green Blue Cow. Really exciting match today, the first time I've played this deck into the new list. As you can see there, we've got a really rough opening hand, so we are going to be sending all 7 cards back there. For this deck, priority is to get ramp on your turn 2. Of course, I would like my 1 cost as well. That's great for a little bit of board control early on, but ideally we need Tipo or Sail. You can see on the draw there that we have drawn into our Rafiki as well as Tipo and Sail, so we've got a really nice opening hand there. Really happy with that. Beau playing green blue, the style of his deck, he wants to ramp as well. He's going to be controlling using cards like Under the Sea, but one of the cards we need to be aware of is Big Clarabelle. Being a draw deck with Blurple, we're expecting to have a lot of cards in our hand. With his deck, he's looking to empty his hand out, shift on his Clarabelle, and then draw at the end of his turn for the amount of cards I have in my hand. Something I need to be really careful about. Beau is also a subscriber to the channel, so shout out to you, Beau. Thank you very much for playing me today. Really enjoyed having games against you. This was the 3rd match that I played today. I won the other ones, so it was great to play Beau in the final ones. We are starting off here we are going to ink Hypnotic Strength, and we'll follow that off by playing out Rafiki. This is a really nice turn 1 play just to get a bit of control. I could play out Royal Guard, but for me, I always prefer Rafiki on the turn 1. Royal Guard's a bit better later in the game when we're drawing more. Beau is going to ink his Lewis and play out Clarabelle. Need to be careful of that shift line there. Clarabelle also able to get rid of the Magic Feather in our deck, something I need to be careful about later in the game. I'm going to ink the Tipo and I'm going to opt to play Sail the Azurite Sea here. The reason for this, I'm looking to get a little bit of extra card draw. I didn't actually have any 4-cost characters in my hand, so something I was looking for to get a bit more of an advantage for the next turn. I've inked the Tipo for Sail's effect. Beau is going to ink Tipo, follow suit, playing Sail the Azurite Sea. At this point, I think Tipo would have been nice to play so he can get a bit more board presence, but perhaps he's wanted a little bit more draw as well. He will then opt to ink his card, which he is going to go with... went with Clarabelle, and then he'll play Develop Your Brain, allowing him to search top 2 cards, put 1 card into his hand and the other card onto the bottom of his deck. At this point, pretty even matchup. We're just going to keep our cards up. No need to force the challenge there. I think that's the right play from Beau. I'm now able to ink, and hopefully I've drawn into my 4-cost card. That will allow me to continue the play. If not, we might be a little bit stuck. Looks like we are. I'm going to put the Hypnotic Strength onto Rafiki, using that to get a draw out. This shows us that I did not have anything on the turn 4. Sorry, for the 4-cost, which is a bit annoying. I'm going to ink the Monstro, do not need that till later in the game. Additionally, with Beau's deck, he's not going to be playing a lot of characters out, so Monstro isn't that useful, but it could be good for the Clarabelles and Hades later on. He's going to play out Iago, which is evasive. Also gives him the ability to play an action for 2 less than usual, which is very useful for his deck. There is a lot of actions in there. At this point, we are sitting on 4 ink, so I will be inking a card this turn and hopefully playing out something a little bit bigger. We are going to opt to play Iago, bit of good board presence there, hoping he's not going to have an action to be able to pop it. Iago is good board control for me since it has such high willpower. Obviously the negative is the Vanish ability. We're going to ink the Finders Keepers there. I've seen he's got the Clarabelle in field, so I'm expecting a shift line out. I do not want to overdraw and commit here, so Finders Keepers is the safe bet to go into our Inkwell. For Beau's turn, he is going to ink Megara and then shift out the Clarabelle. As I expected, that was going to be coming out. Now, once he exerts the Clarabelle, he's then able to draw equal to the cards I have in my hand. So if he's able to get rid of more cards, then he's going to be drawing quite a lot. Okay, it looks like Beau's just passing his turn, not ready to exert it, does not want to risk the Iago taking out the Clarabelle alongside Rafiki, so valuing that for a little bit later. We have a total of 5 ink, so I'm going to play down the Elsa, exert the Clarabelle. Iago is now able to go into that. I think sensible play here would be Iago and Rafiki into Clarabelle. One of the good things about this is Iago is going to stay on the field, so if I use a Bell on the next turn, I can move that damage from Iago onto another character, creating good pressure on my side of the board. I think that's the play that I do go for, taken out. Yeah, that would be the right play here. Iago taking 5 damage back, and then Elsa can sit there ready for the next turn. No need to do anything with it. At this point in the game, we're in quite a comfortable state. The main thing for me is just making sure that he doesn't fill his board out too much. If he is able to get quite a lot down, it will be difficult for us to come back because he has that additional removal. Under the Sea is also a Sing Together song as well, so something that I am conscious of for how many characters he has on the field. It looks like it was the Dumbo that we inked down there. Beau is currently sitting on 5 ink. In the hand we've got Belle and Finders Keepers. As I said on the previous turn, Belle is able to move that damage across, which will be quite nice for us. However, Iago is an evasive character as well, so he could trade into it if he so chooses. He is going to ink his Lewis, and that leaves him with 6 ink altogether. Iago is going to quest for 1. He will then follow this up by playing You're Welcome. Okay, this was a cool little tech that Beau had been doing all throughout the game. With Iago's effect, he's able to play You're Welcome for only 2 instead. He then shuffles his own card into the deck, and this allows him to draw 2 more cards. Obviously, it's a bit of a risk to losing tempo having nothing on the field, but if you've got nothing suitable in your hand, it's a great way to get drawback. As you can see in his hand there, he had Chaos and Hades, so he's a bit limited. He's going to play out the Tipo, ink an additional card, get some ramp, and pass turn. At this point, Beau is in a little bit of a tricky position. He is going to have to hope that he can get some additional card draw and make some additional threats. He does drop that Hades on Iago or Elsa. I'm not too worried about that. That's fine for me. So we're going to use Dumbo here. As you can tell, my proxies are top tier, maybe not quite as good as the real one. I'm going to use Dumbo's effect on the Iago and the Elsa to gain a lore each time and then also draw. Dumbo has been a really nice card in this deck, being able to keep the draw engine going when I haven't yet ran into second star or my Finders Keepers. Obviously Dumbo can use its effect on itself or other evasive characters. We can then use the Magic Feather to put her onto another character, make it evasive, and keep going with Dumbo's effect. Been really happy with it in the testing, so Dumbo, no matter what people are saying in Blurple, great spot. Looks like he's going for 7 now, that's got to be Hades. He, of course, is going to be sticking out on the Dumbo, trying to limit my card draw. That's definitely the right play there. He wants us to be limited. The only time he's going to let us get big is if he can get that Clarabelle out, but at this point, he is dying in his hand and is in desperate need for some other cards. We have quite an abundant hand now, so I'm quite happy where we are. We have a total of 7 ink altogether. So let's see, what play am I going to be going for next? Okay, 4 for the Genie, get some more cards into the hand, happy with that. Got 3 ink and we're going to ink the Tipo, pay another 4 out to go for another Iago. Reason for this is I'm expecting something to be able to take out my Iago. If I've got another one there, I can still do some damage into the bigger card like Hades. Questing for 2 there, absolutely fine with, going up to 4 total. Not only do we have more characters on the board, but we've got a better lore total. In the hand you saw we've got the Hades as well, so any bigger threats that he's able to get onto the board, I'm able to pop off. Of course we're holding on to our Finders Keepers for additional draw, and then the Belle as well to ping damage across. Basil is a bit of an interesting card. When you play this character, the opponents return a character to their hand, and when it quests, the opponent has to discard a card. So it was a little bit of a pain there. Singing stopped its track Chaos. I think that was the card, Chaos? Yeah, so that returns some cards to my hand, which just kind of ruins my tempo a little bit. Gives Beau an opportunity to take over. Once again though, he's not got a lot of cards. In fact, no cards in his hand whatsoever, where he's got an abundant here. I think at this point I probably want to be getting rid of Basil so I'm not having to discard any cards when it quests, and then Iago can probably just stay upright or maybe just quest since there's no evasive threats on the field. Sitting on 8 ink altogether, so there's a few options for what we go with. Could also try to fill the board a little bit more here, it depends on what I've got in the hand though. So we're moving 2 across. Am I potentially going for a 6 cost here? A little bit indecisive there, Zach. Come on, you should know your deck better than this. Sort yourself out. Right, we're going for the 7 there, so that's got to be the Hades, and I think that's going to be Basil into the Inkwell. Yeah. Now, Basil doesn't really do too much for me because I've got so many cards in my hand, but because I do have better cards like Finders Keepers in there, I don't want to lose that because it's going to be an additional draw engine. Because it's at random with the Basil card, I didn't want to risk it. We're also going to play out Royal Guard and then quest for 1. This is a nice little play here, getting the Royal Guard out, since I'm looking to play the Finders Keepers potentially on the next turn. That can boost up the Royal Guard strength, Obviously it gets Challenger for every card you drew. That would be draw 1, and then additionally for the Finders Keepers, Beau is going to play down another Hades there, putting mine into the ink. I'm fine with this, it's helping my ramp, it means I don't need to focus on it too much myself. Hades isn't too much of a threat for us, obviously non-evasive, it's a 2-quester, it's fine. If he's going to be putting cards into my inkwell when I've got draw cards, that's better for me, it means we've got other plays that we can begin to make. So as you can see, the inkwell is starting to build up quite a lot, we've got 10 total in our inkwell. Got Royal Guard and Iago on the field. Obviously Beau has nothing exerted, so we can't do a lot of challenging there, which is a pain, unless we have something to exert his characters. We've lined up 5 ink altogether, I believe. Yep, 5 ink. So this looks like a potential Belle or an Elsa to me. No, we're going to be moving it back. Once again, indecisive, my own deck. Don't let me back on YouTube, Christ. Whilst we're waiting for me to decide what we're playing, a little reminder guys, please make sure to subscribe to the channel. We are growing rapidly. We are now on 410 subscribers, which is fantastic for us, really happy with the growth. I am still trying to hit 500, so if you are able to help out, it would be greatly appreciated. And we are going to play down the Elsa. That's able to exert the Hades, combining Iago and Elsa, could take that out, or perhaps Royal Guard we want to utilise there. Okay, so with the 10, we're going to use Elsa to exert, Belle to move the damage across from Iago. Iago is then safely able to take the character out and stay on the field. Really good tempo trade there, happy with that. Sometimes it's best to just sit and think about the play, work out exactly what you're doing. Need to be careful with that you don't take too long, but sometimes when it's in that important stage of the game where you do have a chance to take over, worthwhile doing. And we passed the turn there. Could have inked for turn, but with the ink that I'm on because of the Hades, going into my inkwell, I didn't really need to. Also, we've got useful cards, and Beau's went into another Hades it looks like. So what's he going to be popping into my inkwell this time? Going to be getting rid of the Belle. Yeah, that's a fair shout. There's an argument that he wants to be getting rid of the Elsa. Obviously I run the shift line in the deck as well, but Belle is going to be questing for more. So somebody's probably been worried about, especially with a higher strength. I still think Elsa was the play to get rid of there, as his Hades and Tipo together can get rid of Belle. But that's up to both his decision. No cards in his hand though. Right, looks like we have once again lined up 5 cards. This Finders Keepers. Yeah, smart play here. Because he doesn't have a lot in his hand, this gives us an opportunity to start digging for more. We can really expand our lead. Of course, we've still got 6 ink available, so I can make other plays. But Finders Keepers just lets me dig a little deeper, which we went into another Elsa. Of course, that's going to be a Hades exerted there. We want to take out another one of them. Remember, Royal Guard is on higher strength now. Okay, into the unknown. Interesting play there. So I could have wasted some cards, but that is ruining my board presence a little bit. I don't want to get rid of Iago since he doesn't have an answer for it yet. I'd rather he had to commit a resource to it. And wow, happy with this play. Magic Feather going onto Royal Guard, my only non-evasive character on the field, so now he can't challenge into it, which means I'm free to quest. We're really steaming ahead and this game's really going my way, but he gets the big Clarabelle. Very nice top deck Beau, well done. So Clarabelle's effect, once it's exerted, means that he's able to... Oh, well, he's drew that, so it looks like I'm wrong, and you just get at the end of the turn anyway. Clarabelle's effect being that you get to draw at the end of your turn equal to the amount of cards in your opponent's hand. So great play for him there, really what he needed to top deck. Once again though, not too much of a threat for me. I do have removal in my deck. As long as I can match hand sizes with him, I don't need to worry either. But I did see an under the sea into his hand there. I played down the Finders Keepers, which is telling me that I do have a removal in my hand because I wouldn't want him to be able to draw extra at the end of his turn. So I must have something I can be able to do. Looks like 7 perhaps? Is that another Hades? Sail. Right, okay, yeah. Gonna play the Sail. I'll ink twice here for turn and Sail effect, and then probably hit down the Hades on Clarabelle just to get that big threat off the field. Exactly what I do. Yeah, really smart play there. We take away the threats one at a time, and then we are going to quest out. Obviously, the one thing you will notice is my board state is filled with some 2 strength characters, which means Under the Sea is going to absolutely wreck me and can get him back into the game. So if he sings that, that's probably the best play, but he doesn't have a lot in his hand, so maybe he just wants to hardcast it. He's going to go for the Iago there, and then 2, 4, 6, 8, gets the hardcast off. That sends Royal Guard, double Elsas to the bottom of my deck, gives him a chance again. But once again, I've got a decent hand size, whereas he's top decking. I don't think I need to worry, especially being 11-1 up. The best thing with Blurple, guys, is if you have the resources on the field, you can come into the draw cards and just restart your hand altogether. One of the big reasons I'm such a fan of playing second star to the right is when I am in a bad situation, I can just all of a sudden out of nowhere draw 5 cards. It's how the deck really pops off. As you can see, our ink as well, no matter what we go into, I'm going to be able to make multiple plays. That's 4, 8, 12 ink, it looks like we have, potentially even more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10, yeah, 14 ink. Got the genie there, get some additional card draw. Once again, need to be careful that my hand doesn't get too big. He hasn't hit all his Clarabelles yet. Then we are going to be bringing Magic Feather back into my hand. Am I going to be putting this back onto the Hades? Yeah, sensible play here. By putting this on the Hades, it just means he can't really do anything into it. One of the big things that Green-Blue struggles with is they just do not have a lot of evasive threats, so it makes it very hard for them to be able to do anything. We are going to be exerting and playing Finders Keepers, once again keeping that draw engine going, utilising as much of the deck as possible. So as you can see here, even though we've lost friends on the other side, we're not losing out on draw. We've still got plenty that we can utilise. Going to quest out with Iago and Hades, putting us on 14. Big point to note is even with a lot of actions in Beau deck, he hasn't been able to take out the Iago. We've got Mim, Elephant, Bell, Into the Unknown. I didn't catch the others there, but really big hand size. I don't think there's anything Beau can do. He's going to be using Lewis there to give one of my characters Reckless. I think that was Genie, if I remember correctly. He is going to take out my Iago with his own Iago. I'm happy with that. It's a 4 into a 4. Don't need to worry about any loss of tempo there. He's going to have to pass turn, nothing else he can do. Yep, so that stops me from being able to question my Genie there, which is a little bit of a shame. But once again, I've got the Into the Unknown in my hand, so I can just pop that straight away if I'd like. Also, with all the ink that I've got, I'm pretty sure I've got other forms of removal. So let's see what line I'm going to go into first. Right, we are going to exert a massive ink and play out... Ooh, he hesitates. He's unsure. What was I going for there? Okay, and some more in. Looks like we're going for a bigger play here. We're going for Monstro. Absolutely lethal. That is devastating for Beau. So I'm then going to sing, oh my god, second star to the right. This is what I mean about the deck popping off. So that's an additional 5 cards into my hand here. One of the things I said to Beau in the game afterwards, he was very excited about getting his You're Welcome combo off. He went, I can get through so much of my deck. And I said to him, if he's not careful, I was going to use second star to the right on him and make him deck himself out. So Monstro is going to take out Lewis there. I'm then able to get rid of a card if I so choose to ready him back up. I don't think there's a need to, so I don't have to. But it looks like we are then going to be playing out... Elsa, yeah, fantastic. So Elsa, I can exert the Hades here, get rid of something on the Monstro, and then tackle him to the Hades, get that off the board. If I leave Beau with just a Tipo on the field at 14 to 1, there is physically nothing he can do. We're going to get rid of Royal Guard by the looks of it, readying up Monstro. Then Monstro is going to trade into the Hades and stays on 7, I believe. Yep, still on the field. What a nuts play. Of course, he can take it out with a Tipo, but you know, with my board state at the minute, I'm not too worried. Evasive Elsa, Evasive Genie, and Evasive Hades. Like I said, his deck just struggles so much with evasive characters, so unless he's going into another Hades, he's pretty stuck here. Develop gives him a little bit of extra draw. Let's see if he can go into everything. Got the Vision and the Basil. He's going to have to play the Vision here, realistically. He needs to dig for an answer. Yep, searching 5 cards here. I do quite like Vision. I know Harlan is playing Vision in his Blurple list. Good idea being able to dig and find the exact answer that you need. But honestly, with the amount that I draw at the minute, I just don't think I need another action. So I'm kind of happy with the draw as it is. Stopped Chaos in its tracks. So he's going to send some cards back to my hand. He's going to return the Hades since it's the evasive threat. Genie as well. But he's still left with another 3 cards on the field. He's decided not to take out Monstro there with his Tipo. I think that was a massive misplay. As much as he was in a bad position, he can't do anything. He needs to take that out. That's another 2 quester, so I can be questing for 4 this turn. Can also bring back the Magic Feather and now make Monstro evasive, which would make his life a nightmare. Looks like I'm questing out, going to 16. We are then going to follow that up with... Looks like it's 4 I went for there. Nope, 5. We are going to play out the Bell, move some damage across from Monstro, take out Tipo. yeah, shame. If he took that out, he wouldn't have to worry about anything there and one less threat on the field. So I think he really needs to take that out. At this point, Beau's just said, no, unfortunately, that's all we can do. So first round goes to me. Massive well done to Beau, but it looks like Blurple is going strong. Stay tuned for the next one, guys.